Hey everyone, Dev with Crime Hive, and we are talking about missing person Melissa Caddick. Very suspicious case, and was informed of this case from a couple of viewers here. Appreciate you all tuning in live yesterday, and several of you had mentioned this case, so definitely wanted to dig into it more and spread the word about it. It is intriguing, very interesting, because there are some different theories out there. Latest being, they think that Melissa may have possibly staged her own disappearance. So we're going to talk about those details in this case. Again, if you like true crime stories like this, just be sure to subscribe, and you can be notified of other videos that I'm currently covering, other cases that I'm covering. So let's talk about this here. We've got I'm looking at Melissa Caddick right here with her husband, Anthony Koletti, and I've got a video that I'm going to show with his plea to the public as well. So let's just talk about what we've learned here. I've looked at a few different articles. I like going off of this Daily Mail one just for the photos and the aesthetic view there, so you guys see what she looks like. Now, she went missing November 11th, 2020. So this wasn't long ago. This was just about 2 weeks ago. This is where they live. And she is a very wealthy woman, very, very successful businesswoman on all accounts, a millionaire mother. Apparently they have a teenage son that lives in the house with them. And what I wanted to mention before she goes missing, though, is the day prior. So that would have been, this would have actually been November 11th. I'm sorry. So November 12th, she goes missing, apparently. But on November 11th, her home was raided by the Australian Federal Police, and apparently it was because of this shady business dealings. She was involved in wealth management. She had several bank accounts. I think I saw one report there were 17 different bank accounts, and police actually served a search warrant. They collected several items. Apparently, there were laptops and computers and all sorts of other equipment that was actually gathered from the residence and collected. Okay, so you've got this issue going on the 11th of November, and she's looking at some pretty serious charges. They basically advised her, she cannot transfer any funds. She can't try to transfer over to offshore accounts. They actually seized her passport. She was looking at some federal charges here, and I'm sure that was very unsettling for her and her family. So definitely want to give you guys that context there. Then the following day, just November 12th, apparently she leaves for a jog at 5:30 a.m. Now, it's a little wishy-washy with the details here, because apparently the son was in their home gym and heard the door shut. And, still not clear. Did he actually see her leave for this morning jog? Or did he just hear the door, as I'd seen in some other articles? Now, if he did just hear the door, we don't know for sure. It still kind of keeps her in that home, and we don't know if she really did leave. Now, police obviously have more information in these types of cases, but we do know that the CCTV cameras were not working that day. So again, going back to the home there are cameras, and apparently they weren't working maybe a couple days before, but they weren't working that day when she apparently leaves for this jog, right? So a little suspicious with that. It's a very wealthy area, very wealthy neighborhood. I'd seen in one article that neighbors were, they had a WhatsApp chat, a group chat, and they were trying to keep tabs on each other, make sure everybody was okay because of COVID and such. But apparently Melissa's family was not on that chat. It was the only home in the neighborhood that was not involved in that chat, in that group. So they kind of kept to themselves. And we know that in this neighborhood here, there may be other cameras. I'd imagine police have already scoured those areas. There's got to be other cameras out there. Haven't really heard anything. If you've heard, let me know in the comments below if you have any new information on cameras or other witnesses that may have come forward, and I'll talk about a couple other theories as we go. So again, no trace of her as she leaves. Here's her husband here. I'll talk about what he had to say. He had mentioned, and I'll play that video, but he had mentioned that she left her phone, she left keys, she left her wallet, her purse, all these items were left at home. And apparently that is very uncharacteristic of her. Apparently she does take these items with her when she leaves. And so this is according to the husband, Anthony. Now, if she left those items, this is where we started to get into to wondering, what happened. What did she leave because of this case against her, this federal case? Keep in mind, she was supposed to go to a federal hearing the next day. So when her husband realizes she hasn't shown up all day, okay, so 5:30, she didn't show up the rest of the day. He actually didn't report her missing that entire day. And we don't know if he was just hoping that maybe she was going to come home later. Maybe she was just stressed from the obvious events. Or is there something suspicious with that? I know there's some opinions on that. I'd like your thoughts below on what your thoughts are on the husband. And again, he's not considered a suspect right now. It's just suspicious circumstances with this case. So husband reports her missing November 13th. That's the day after. We had learned that there was a court hearing that she was supposed to go to. She was supposed to attend a court hearing for her business dealings, and she did not show. So Anthony shows up instead. They advise him to make a police report. He does that. Police then show up again at the residence, this time investigating it as a disappearance. So that's the sequence of events from 3 days, November 11th, then you've got the 12th, and then the 13th. Now, she's been missing for 2 weeks. Now, on November 20th, the husband goes to the public to spread the word, and he's trying to create more awareness for this case, which we obviously understand. And I'm going to play that video real quick. Let me know what you think about this, okay? And you might have to turn up your volume as I play that here.
Melissa is a dedicated and incredible mother. A beautiful daughter, sister, and loved wife. We are asking the community to help bring Melissa home. That is all. She always took her phone. In this case, was the only time since I've known her that she did not have her phone with her. You know how much we love you. Just come home. Everything's taken care of. You're not in trouble. Melissa is a
Okay. He said that she's not in trouble. Now, we know she was looking at some pretty serious charges there. So this kind of goes into the theories here that I want to talk about. All right. Now, these are some of the theories that I've seen recently. And again, curious about what your thoughts are of that. And I'll pull this up here as we cover this. The first one I want to talk about is the staged disappearance. I've heard this recently in news articles here. You may have heard about this as well. Police are not ruling this out. So it tells me that there must be some evidence that may have been gathered, possible forensic, digital forensic evidence that maybe they've already uncovered to lead them to believe that this is a possibility for her staged disappearance. So, some big stakes here. She went missing here, and she apparently went to an area also known as the Gap, not far away in that area in Sydney. So I'll pull up a map here and show you what I'm talking about. The Gap. Another theory is suicide. Okay, so when we're looking at the map here, you've got Australia, right? You're zooming in here. They're in this area. Dover Heights was the neighborhood that they're living in, right? And then if you were to go up the coast, a little bit further up the coast here, there would be the Gap, and it's a cliff. And I'll show you the photo on here. Apparently, it's a known suicide spot, and I'll pull that. Here's another photo of them. Just want to give you guys a couple photos. That's why I'm showing that. That's Anthony there, and let me scroll through here, and I'll show you guys. This was a photo, real quick. This was a photo of police showing up at the residence to do the search warrant and collect items. So there was a lengthy investigation there, federal investigation. Here is the Gap area, the cliffs. Apparently this is known as a suicide spot. So that is another theory that maybe she couldn't deal with this. Everything caved in with her business dealings. She may have, really felt like there was no hope left for her, and she may have committed suicide. We obviously hope that's not the case. in this, but that's another theory. Curious about your thoughts on that theory. And then I skipped over the second theory here. It doesn't matter what order necessarily, but she did not want to be found to avoid prosecution is another theory. There's a couple articles that have come out and mentioned this. And she is an adult. You know, she is looking at these charges, and she may have just left. She doesn't want to be found. She doesn't want to be held accountable for these charges. And then there's the other theory, which again still leaves suspicion. Was she murdered? And I put murdered by someone she knows, most likely in that type of area where she's at. The other circumstances that we're dealing with here with this story, it's the other probable conclusion here would be that maybe she was murdered by someone else. You can't leave the fact that she may have been murdered by a stranger as well. You know, I wanted to leave a blank theory. If you guys have any other ideas, any other theories that you may have heard or know about, and definitely leave your comments below. Let's get this story out there. This is the first one I'm doing in Australia, and we want to know what happened. And I know there's a lot of people investigating this online, so to speak. So I will be out with another video as soon as I hear more details. And this is Dev with Crime Hive. We'll chat with you in another video soon. Thanks.